Food is not simply something we consume to survive. It is a continuous biological conversation between our environment and ourselves. Every time we eat, the body is not just counting calories or absorbing nutrients, it is interpreting signals. These signals inform the immune system whether to calm down or stay alert, tell the nervous system whether the world is safe or threatening, and instruct our genes which directions to move in. This means food is not passive, it is active. It speaks, and the body listens with extraordinary precision. Here's a question worth pausing on. If food can alter inflammation, hormones, mood, and immunity within minutes, why do we treat eating as an afterthought? Modern culture has reduced food to convenience and entertainment, but biology has never changed its expectations. The human body still recognizes whole foods as cooperation and processed foods as confusion. When we eat foods that are alive with color, fiber, minerals, and natural fats, we are not being healthy in a moral sense. We are restoring clarity to the body's internal communication system. Highly processed foods create noise in this system. Refined sugars, artificial additives, and damaged fats provoke the body into a low-grade stress response. Blood sugar spikes, insulin surges, inflammation rises, and the immune system becomes distracted. Over time, this constant biochemical noise exhausts the body's ability to regulate itself. Fatigue, cravings, mood instability, and chronic inflammation are not failures of willpower, they are predictable responses to chronic biological misinformation. But food does something even more subtle and powerful. It shapes how safe the body feels. The gut and the brain are in constant dialogue through the nervous system. When digestion is supported with natural, fiber-rich, anti-inflammatory foods, the gut sends signals of safety to the brain. When digestion is overwhelmed, the gut sends distress signals instead. A distressed gut cannot support a calm mind, and a stressed mind cannot support healing. This is why food is inseparable from emotional and mental well-being. Here is the deeper hook most people miss. It is not only what you eat, but the state you are in while eating. A meal eaten in anxiety, rushing, or distraction activates stress hormones that literally reduce nutrient absorption. The same meal eaten slowly, with presence and appreciation, is metabolized differently. This is not philosophy, it is physiology. The nervous system decides whether digestion is worth the energy. When the body feels rushed or threatened, it postpones repair. This means eating is a ritual, whether we acknowledge it or not. The body interprets posture, breathing, and emotional tone as part of the meal. Shallow breathing tightens the digestive tract. Calm breathing relaxes it. Gratitude is not spiritual decoration, it is a biological signal of safety. When the body feels safe, it invests energy in healing, repair, and balance. Another uncomfortable question arises here. If food can either support healing or silently sabotage it, why do we keep separating nutrition from medicine? Integrative medicine recognizes that food is one of the most consistent and powerful influences on gene expression. Certain foods activate pathways associated with longevity and repair. Others activate pathways associated with inflammation and degeneration. These effects accumulate quietly, day after day, long before symptoms appear. Food also teaches the body rhythm. Regular meals with balanced nutrients stabilize blood sugar, which stabilizes mood, energy, and concentration. Irregular eating patterns and nutrient-poor diets push the body into survival mode. In survival mode, healing is postponed. The body is not lazy, it is prioritizing defense over
Faith is not a passive idea or an abstract comfort reserved for moments of crisis. It is an active biological force shaping how the body responds to life. Every belief you hold consistently becomes a physiological instruction. The brain does not distinguish sharply between what is happening and what is believed to be happening. It responds to meaning. And meaning, once established, alters chemistry, neural signaling, hormone release, and immune behavior. This is why belief is not soft science. It is embedded in how the human organism survives and adapts. Consider this carefully. The body is always preparing for what the mind expects. When the mind expects danger, failure, or decline, the nervous system shifts into protection. Stress hormones rise, inflammation increases, and repair mechanisms are delayed. But when the mind expects possibility, support, or improvement, a different internal environment emerges. Cortisol levels soften. The parasympathetic nervous system activates. Immune cells communicate more efficiently. Faith, in this sense, is not optimism. It is biological orientation. Here is the hook most people overlook. Hopelessness is not just emotional suffering. It is a physiological state. When a person loses faith in recovery, the body receives a message that investment is no longer worthwhile. Energy is conserved, motivation drops, and healing responses become less coordinated. This is not punishment or weakness, it is efficiency. The body does not allocate resources where the mind has declared no future. Faith works in the opposite direction. When a person holds even a quiet belief that improvement is possible, the brain begins to reorganize. Neuroplasticity increases. Pain perception shifts. The immune system becomes more responsive. This is why two people with the same diagnosis can experience vastly different outcomes. Biology responds not only to treatment, but to expectation. Ask yourself this: if belief can influence pain, immunity, and recovery, why do we treat it as optional? Clinical research has repeatedly shown that patients who feel supported, hopeful, and engaged heal more effectively than those who feel helpless and isolated. The placebo effect is often misunderstood as deception, but it is better understood as evidence. Evidence that belief changes the body. Evidence that expectation alters outcome. Faith does not mean denying difficulty. In fact, authentic faith acknowledges reality without surrendering agency. It says, "This is challenging, but it is not the end of the story." That internal statement alone shifts the nervous system out of collapse and into engagement. The body moves from shutdown to participation. Healing requires participation. Another powerful dimension of faith is trust. Trust in the body's intelligence. The human body has survived through centuries of disease, trauma, and scarcity because it knows how to adapt. When we constantly fear symptoms and distrust sensations, we interfere with that intelligence. Faith restores cooperation. It allows symptoms to be interpreted as communication rather than catastrophe. Here is an uncomfortable hook. Fear is louder than faith, but it is also more expensive. Fear consumes energy. It accelerates aging. It narrows perception. Faith, by contrast, conserves energy and expands possibility. A body that trusts its ability to adapt does not waste resources on constant alarm. It uses them for repair. Faith is also reinforced through language. The words we use internally become biochemical signals. Saying, "My body is failing," produces a different response than saying, "My body is working to rebalance." These are not affirmations for comfort. They are reframes that alter stress physiology. Language shapes expectation. Expectation shapes response. Social connection strengthens faith as well. Being seen, heard, and supported reassures the nervous system that survival is not solitary. Isolation weakens belief. Connection stabilizes it. This is why community, compassion, and therapeutic relationships matter as much as protocols. Healing does not occur in isolation, and neither does faith. Perhaps the most important insight is this: faith is not something you wait to feel